Madam Speaker of the National Assembly.
Crime is wickedness, crime is greed, crime destroys families, crime divides nations.
Well, I think the most important implications for this, Ayanda, are for you and me. The implication being that a person, regardless of their status, is equal before the law, and they cannot go to court and ask the court to stop people from performing lawful operations on them, such as arresting them. So that is the most important thing that we get out of this. In terms of party politics and so on, I do not think that Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula is a major political force, for instance, relative to the 2024 elections. There's a lot to be said about that, and there are no secrets. You know, the issue Robert McBride talked about gangster politicians and political gangsters in South Africa. The problem we have is that we have had the tendency to appoint gangster politicians and political gangsters to the highest office. The charges that she faces, that is Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula, are not about activities that she did in the past 2 weeks. These are activities that have been going on for quite some time while she was the Minister of Defense, which is supposed to be one of the most senior positions in this country. She demonstrated reluctance and negligence relative to protecting the general population in the July insurrection of 2021. And she has a history of misconduct, of using the resources such as the airplanes of the Defense Force of South Africa as a taxi, using airplanes, Air Force airplanes as a private taxi. So she's a person who has not deserved to be a minister of any kind in South Africa. She's far below the standard, let alone now to be made the head of the legislature by Cyril Ramaphosa, the president, who is equally reckless. When we look at records of many of these fellows who are in the ruling party, many of them have had cases going back to Travelgate, the Natim Tetwas, and many others. And we didn't, those cases nothing came out of the actual case. It didn't win the case, it didn't lose the case just disappeared. The architect in the Nkandla case, his case was there, and all that was needed was a default judgment. That default judgment has never come about. It's just been dead quiet. So there is a lot among the ruling elites who run this country. There is a lot of processes that happen to make cases disappear, cases that pertain to the ruling elites. And unfortunately, it appears as though Nosiviwe Nqakula this time has missed it, because her case is going to appear and at a time when the ANC is getting weaker electorally. So their ability to make cases disappear after the 29th of May will have been substantially reduced, and some may end up find themselves under the bus, and she may probably be one of them. This strategy, unfortunately, has been expensive for the ANC from day one, since the time of the Polokwane Conference. Bear in mind that a big part of the Polokwane Conference was about terminating the Scorpions. If you go back to the actual records, there was a lot of comrades who had cases, and it was so urgent. As soon as they came out of Polokwane, one of the first orders of business, and Charles Nqakula, coincidentally the husband of Mapisa-Nqakula, was leading the charge in the abolition of the Scorpions. The Phala Phala saga, where they they formed a ring of iron, a ring of steel around Ramaphosa to protect him. So they've protected a lot of gangster politicians, if we use the language of Robert McBride. All the years they've done it, especially after the Polokwane conference. It's part of the uniform, it's part of their standard operating procedures. It doesn't pay them well, which is part of why they are most likely to lose power in May 2024 this year.
There will be discussions with the NPA in terms of what is the next move now, and those matters will be decided there.
We don't discuss issues of arrests, evidential issues, list of witnesses, investigative processes in the media. But obviously the wheels of justice will now be in motion as you were listening to the judgment, which was well reasoned. And we've always maintained that indeed this is unprecedented and it was unnecessary for us to be brought to court.